Angelina and Sophie here. Welcome to the third edition of Upper Valley Access, CATV's video magazine.
Let's look at what's happening this month.
So today I'm here with Karen Gainey, and she is from Transition 5 Villages. They just wrapped up a lecture series that took place, all of them I think, in White River Junction. Is
That's
that right?
Yep.
So I just wanted to talk with Karen today about the lectures, how they went, and what the organizations are going to do going forward.
Great.
So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for the use of the equipment.
So tell me about how the series came about, the organizations that are involved, and the basis of it.
Yeah, so Transition 5 Villages started in 2007, I want to say, with a group of us that got together to go to a training in Montpelier, Vermont. And the training was to educate people about what this transition movement is. And so some people that I'd been working with, primarily Kai Cochran, who's at the Upper Valley Food Co-op, and Simon Dennis, had already been kind of working in areas of environmental food justice issues. And so we went to the training together with a few others and learned about this movement called Transition Town. And it started in the UK, and people were looking at what are the effects of climate change and looking at how communities can organize their own sustainability infrastructure. And then later on, and after 2008, we saw some of the challenges and the ways that the economy is threatened by these similar, the vulnerabilities in certain systems. So then this became this like three-pronged approach to creating a more sustainable, resilient community by way of raising awareness about climate change and peak oil, around possibilities of what is possible for communities to do from a grassroots standpoint. The exciting thing about transition is that it's more than just saying, here are the problems, what are we going to do about them, but saying, we believe that there's actually a better quality of life to be had when we're engaged in closer relationship with things like growing our own food, knowing where our community resources are coming from, where's our energy coming from, where's our power coming from. We've been kind of slowly building up to this speaking series that we called Collapse and Opportunity, because some of the systems that form our basic infrastructures are vulnerable. So there might be some collapsing, but there's a lot of opportunity in that. So we want to educate ourselves about where those opportunities are, what we need to be informed about, and we have a lot of experts around the state of Vermont that can really inform the dialogue. So we wanted to highlight their voices and give people in Hartford and also the greater Upper Valley a chance to learn together and from some of the voices that we heard. So it was the first Friday of every month, and we wanted to couple with the First Friday events in White River and just give folks an opportunity to come out and have something else to do, which would be like this learning opportunity. And the basics of the series was to have a speaker, but also have community dialogue. We had Ben Falk, who is a really well-known permaculture landscape designer, talk about food systems and how we can build more resilient food systems of nutrient-dense foods, and what species should we think about planting. Gwendolyn Hall-Smith has worked for the state of Vermont in the economics department, people that were engaged in the topic of what does a Vermont state bank look like, and wanted to learn more about that. Who else? Jim Merkel, who wrote Radical Simplicity, is an Upper Valley former resident. He gave a really wonderful presentation too about this idea of radical simplicity and how can we shape our lives to be consuming at the rate that the planet can sustain. So we're just experimenting with, like, how do we, one, be engaged citizens that are aware and present and able to take on some of the issues of our time so that we're not just sweeping them under the carpet while maintaining health, happiness, and sanity, which is, it can be complicated. But so the series was also a way to bring speakers together. We worked with those speakers to develop these programs that were more than just a speaker and an audience. One of the other things that we've been experimenting with the series is learning how to be together as a group and acknowledging that there is something that when there's a problem that occurs, whether it's climate change or drought or whatever small or big problem, we often, it's a human nature to respond or react immediately. And so I think that a transition is looking at ways that we can broaden our ability to think creatively about the problems, but also acknowledge that they can't all be solved intellectually. The ability for a group to hold a space together, maybe with a little bit of silence or a little bit of movement, like how can we activate those places in our psyches, because we acknowledge that some of the problems that we are faced with in this day are complex. And unless we come up with creative, collective solutions, that we're only going to be getting, the leaves of the problem and not getting to the root of, inequity, consumerism, pollution, whatever it is that's contributing to global climate change and global warming, which is a lot of things.
So this is good, and the conversations, I'm sure, will continue outside of the space because we're all Upper Valley community members.
Right.
Right. So it's friends and neighbors. We'll continue the conversation.
It's time to light the spark. Oh, well, yeah, that's kind of what I meant. But what I really meant is in the community. Hi, I'm John Fenley, co-founder of Spark Community Center. We're coming out with an amazing new community center that will serve the Upper Valley for years to come. I have an acquired brain injury, and so many of my friends also have disabilities and have nowhere to go in the local community. And now we found the answer to that. At Spark Community Center, they can participate in arts and crafts, community-wide projects, educational classes, and so much more. This is an amazing opportunity, not just for them, but for the whole community to come and see what amazing talents they have to bring to their local communities. Everyone has a spark deep down inside, and it's our mission to make it shine. So please come to our grand opening on June 20th at 4 o'clock. We're located at the former Lebanon Junior High. Hope to see you there. Thanks, fellow Sparks.
Our goal for this project is to bring disc golf to the community. We'd love for everyone to be able to stay right here in Hanover and have 18 championship holes right here in the Upper Valley. My name's Jeremy Masson, and I approached the Storrs Pond folks about 2 years ago. I saw an image of this place on Google Earth and thought it looked like a place that we could build a disc golf course. So I sent an email, and much to my surprise, I got an email back that said that they were very interested in pursuing a disc golf course. They spent about 18 months putting together a lot of information and trying to figure out if they were going to do it and how much they were going to do, how much it was going to cost. And we contacted James Bolio, who designed the course at Sunapee and the course in Newport, New Hampshire, and brought him on board. And he began the design on this, and then we started working with the college to put some of it on their property. The design was finished late last year, around September, and we started cutting trees in October, and now here we are in May, and we are almost completed. We should be done by early June. The pond management has hired about 2 people, in addition to, I think, 2 or 3 full-time staff that they have, and they've been cutting trees and installing baskets since the snow melted about 2 weeks ago. We've done a couple of work days where community members have come out and helped us cut trees and haul brush. At one point we had 15 people working on the side of these hills, cutting trees and hauling out great big trees and brush for 5 hours on 2 different Sundays. June 1st, when we open, on that Sunday, we're going to have a tournament event. There'll be 2 rounds. Everybody will show up, hopefully, that has a season's pass, and everybody that wants to play. If you don't have a season's pass, it's $5 to come out for the day, and you can rent discs here at the clubhouse. They give you a couple of discs and a golf bag, and you can carry that all around over the course. And we'll play a 2-round tournament-style event here in June. And that'll be our big season opener. On September 6th, we have Salt Hill Pub presents the Storrs Pond Classic, which will be a Green Mountain Disc Golf Club event, PDGA Pro event here at the course, and that'll be our first big, main event for the season. There'll be camping and a concert after. The Hanover Improvement Society took this project on all by itself. All the funding, all the money comes directly from the Hanover Improvement Society, which is a non-for-profit group of public citizens who put this whole park on all by themselves out of their own pockets. They've bought all the baskets and paid for all the labor to take care of the course and maintain it throughout the season. You can check us out on the Storrs Pond Disc Golf Course Facebook page. I post all kinds of stuff on there about when we're going to have league events and when the course is going to open up, when we're doing work days. All that can be found there. And if you want to buy your season's pass, you can do that at storrspond.org.
My name is Abby Jackson, and I am a senior at Lebanon High School. I have a friend who had troubles at home and had recently broken up with a serious girlfriend, so he had lots going on. I'd been watching him get sadder and sadder, and one day he was unusually happy. I thought things were going better, so I asked him what was going on. He looked around the room to see if anyone had been paying attention, and then pulled out a bottle of prescription pills. And he said, "I took these from my dad's medicine cabinet this morning, and I've taken a few throughout the day, and I'm feeling really good." I asked why he had taken them, and he said that he had had a couple of crappy weeks and school wasn't helping, and he just wanted to feel better. He started to walk away, and I asked him where he was going. He said he was going to drive home, and I asked him if he really thought that was a good idea after taking the medication. He said, "Yeah, it's no big deal, I'm just driving up the road, really, it's fine." I tried to stop him, but he's a lot bigger than me and wasn't really listening to anything I had to say. He drove off, and I went directly to Emily's office, the student assistance provider at our school, and told her what was going on. Emily had called his dad and told him what my friend had done. His dad went home right away, and then my friend called Emily's office and was angry because she had called his dad. Later, he told me he called Emily to thank her and was not angry with me at all. He never did say thank you, but that wasn't what was important to me. What was important was making sure he was safe and that he got the help that he needed. There is safety in asking for help. Ask for help and save a life.
I think WindCycle should be a model resource for every community.
WindCycle's a small nonprofit located in Windsor, Vermont. And we specialize in refurbishing unwanted computers and laptops. WindCycle was started by volunteers and was run by volunteers about 10 years ago. It was started when Dartmouth College was wondering what they could do with their electronic devices that were no longer usable at the college. So they set up this organization to test and resell still good and refurbishable electronics. And today we've got 7 employees, probably a dozen to 15 volunteers that handle nearly 300,000 pounds of electronic waste annually.
People don't realize WindCycle's so much more than just computers.
Beyond purchasing a new machine, beyond recycling your old one, we're trying to make a shift in idea, a shift in model. Just because something doesn't meet your needs anymore doesn't mean it's worthless or useless or needs to go in the trash. We here Frankenstein a lot of machines.
We also provide a number of training opportunities and workshops for people to learn how to use computers to impact their lives. Some of our workshops that we've provided have helped people understand applying for jobs.
And we're hoping to not just supply education, but supply a community resource. So it's not just us standing up at the front of the room dictating, this is how you create a new user account. It's hopefully bringing people together and facilitating those resources rather than just spitting out all the steps.
WindCycle can help area residents and small businesses and other nonprofits keep close to the tight bottom lines that everybody is experiencing. We have low-cost laptops and computers. We have low-cost responsible recycling options. We encourage people to use different operating systems like Linux to help reduce costs. And there's a number of just computer knowledge and experience that can be found here at WindCycle that you can't find anyplace else.
We're really trying to foster not just a good sale, but a good user experience as well as a computer community, and we stand behind it. We will do our best to make sure this is going to be a good long-term relationship between us and not just our customers, but our community, our surrounding.
We use a lot of students in the area who are trying to learn how to repair computers and how to refurbish them. So, purchasing equipment through WindCycle helps support not just WindCycle, but the work that we're doing and helping young people get into the computer science field.
We are trying to teach a different mentality. And as we move forward, it's hoped that we can really spread out into the community and be that reminder that you don't have to do everything the same way because everyone else does it. We try to offer a healthy alternative that's going to benefit everyone.
Stop by the store, call the store, or check out our website, windcycle.org.
Hi, I'm here with Amy McMullen, who is the brains behind the Heartland Homeschool at Heartland Library. And tell me, whose idea was to start this?
It was a collaboration between myself and homeschool parent Cindy Hale. She had been talking about wanting to have a Red Clover group, and I said, wow, wouldn't that be so cool? You do the Red Clover and I would do the DCF books.
Okay, what do you do in the book club? Read books, but what kind of books?
We read the Dorothy Canfield Fisher books.
Okay. And what is it, Dorothy Canfield Fisher books?
Well, every year a group of librarians and other people, they decide the Dorothy Canfield Kids Book Award, and those are the books we read.
The Dorothy Canfield Fisher, I believe, is the oldest Reader's Choice Award.
So why did you decide to become homeschooled?
Well, I actually just found out that I'm currently enrolled in a private school, but next year I'll be homeschooled, and the year after that I'll also be homeschooled.
Do you have to follow a certain curriculum by the state of New Hampshire?
Well, my parents went to a meeting to figure out about what kind of curriculum I'd have, and I think we're considering doing a blended curriculum.
Do you have regular days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Can you shorten the days? Can you go, like, I know the Koya goes during April vacation, does schools that you get out in the summer?
Yeah, well, in my school, my parents have been taking me out for different periods of time more and more, so I can experience or easily transition into being a homeschooler. Nicholas?
Nicholas who?
Lee.
Nicholas Lee. How, and what grade are you when you normally do?
Fourth.
Fourth grade. Do you like being homeschooled?
Yeah, it's fun.
What are some of your, why do you like coming to the Heartland Library for homeschool?
It's an interesting way to just kind of do new things and experience different stuff.
So you must like the video part.
Yeah.
What do you like about video?
I really like filming. I'm not much of an actor, but I like filming.
Oh, I think you're a good actor. See video game. Do you think you ever go to public school?
Well, I mean, my time is kind of running out because I'm in 7th grade, so, I mean, maybe I would go to high school, yeah.
What's your favorite book you read this year?
I did like this book, After Eli. And, you know what? That's not true. I liked See You at Harry's was a book on the 2012-13 list.
Oh, great.
It was by a local author, and it was good. It was just sad.
I call them my homeschool kids. That's how I feel about them. I think they're fabulous, each and every one of them. And they crack me up, and they just amaze me with their imagination and creativity and all of their energy.
Here we are at the Heartland Library, a great place to be and a great place to learn, and we're going to have special words about it from starting with Nicoya.
It's fantastic.
It's really cool. It's just rock and roll.
It's incredible.
It's really awesome.
It's bombastic. It's amazing. It's epic.
We'll see you at the Heartland Library.
My name is Sylvia Newberry. I was, for most of my professional life, a registered nurse. And late in my nursing career, I became interested in herbs and started a community herb garden at the Healing Arts Clinic next to Mount Escutney Hospital in Windsor. And then in 2011, I was approached by the group who does the community garden here, or the leaders of the group that do the community garden here in Heartland. And they had planted a small garden of herbs as part of that project, and they asked if I would be interested in giving them some advice or making some contributions to it, and ended up being gifted with the whole project.
I'm Tina Barney, and in this project it's primarily through my association with the Extension Master Gardener Program in Vermont. But previous to that and concurrently, I'm also a physician. So I was trained in Western medicine, but I've always appreciated that the origins of many active medicines were from plants, and they have biologically active compounds. There's something that I think is valuable in plant-based medicines, and many of them can be prepared by individuals. The number of gardeners we've had has varied year to year, and it varies with what particular meeting time we may have. So last year we made an effort to try to have different activities happen at different times of the week and different times of the day to try to accommodate people's schedules. Last year the attendance at meetings would vary from about 7 or 8 to 15 or 20.
There's I think a growing number of people that have learned that if they need a handful of parsley or they want to make some pesto, that this is a place where they can stop and pick a few leaves and take them home with them. And we're actually thrilled when people do that. That's a real purpose that we like to fulfill. It is at present a mixture of both culinary and medicinal herbs.
So while we have a major focus on the plants that are cultivated in the small area of the community garden, we also have an appreciation of the plants that are naturally growing in the perimeter of the fields that also have both edible uses and medicinal uses. So in any of the lists you see for the formal part of the garden, that really is probably only about 2/3 of the things that are available in this area. We try to teach people some of the ones that are more common that you may even have in your yard, so that this doesn't always mean that you've got to go out and plant new things or buy new things. It means training your eye to be able to see some of the plants that are in pretty much any not super heavily manicured yard, in pastures, in fields, across roadsides. So you really learn that there is sort of a medicine chest waiting for you without having to go buy a lot of new plants or preparations. When we looked at what was the purpose of the garden, we do want people to be able to take some of these or take some of the products of them home with them. The particular uses of the garden are really flexible. Ideally, they reflect the interests of the people who are involved with the garden in that particular year. If we have people who are interested in developing educational materials, whether those are directed at children or whether they're directed at specific medicinal uses, if they're about identifying some of the wild plants around the perimeter, there are many different directions that this garden project could move in. Ideally, rather than Sylvia and I setting out the agenda, we would like the particular expression of the project each year to reflect the interests of the people who want to be involved that year. So it's not going to be exactly the same year to year. If we have different people, we'll have different projects, we'll have different special events.
This is a safe place for them to sort of see the experimentation and to decide whether that's something that they want to grow at home. How much space does it take up? What does it look like? Is it something that they might use medicinally or in cooking, and they can see it here before they commit to doing it at home? For me, as somebody from Heartland, it has been a place where I have had some interesting conversations with people about herbs and gardening in general, and some really enjoyable time spent there with totally unstructured, unanticipated meetings with people and who just stopped to talk. And I think that that's one of the things that I have really enjoyed with it.
I think it helps people increase their use of the library and certainly increase their awareness of the resources that the Harlan Public Library has, the resources that the community garden has. Anytime people are meeting within the community and meeting people who they wouldn't necessarily otherwise see, but learn that they have a common interest, I think that's always a benefit for a community.
Thanks for watching. Join us next time.